Good morning and welcome to the first virtual edition of Take a Side. We hope everyone's staying safe out there. For today's show, I'm here with Max McElroy and Jerome Sweeney here to talk about Mr. Alex Grande Padilla's latest debate about who's the bigger villain, Carole Baskin or Jerry Krause. Baskin was one of the main subjects on Netflix's documentary Tiger King and was allegedly responsible for feeding her husband to the tigers in August of 1997. Around the same time, Jerry Krause was the general manager of the Bulls. On Sunday, ESPN released the first two episodes of The Last Dance, a documentary covering Michael Jordan's last season of his career with the Bulls. So with that being said, Max, what are your thoughts?
I think this is a no-brainer here. Carole Baskin, the person who has actually either planned or committed a murder herself, is without a doubt the bigger villain in this story. In a time where we didn't have any sports, it worked out really well that she was kind of someone everyone could rally around as a villain. But villains are so great because there's someone they don't need a hero, like they don't need someone to root against. Where like this whole situation with the Bulls is like everyone, you wanted Michael Jordan to win. Who doesn't love Michael Jordan? But you have Carole Baskin as someone who you desperately want to lose. There's just something inside of you that makes you want to just hate her. And so without a doubt in my mind, just the biggest villain compared to Jerry Krause, Carole Baskin.
I mean, if you look at what Jerry Krause did to the Bulls and what the Bulls were, I mean, I think the entire city of Chicago hates Jerry Krause because they ruined the Bulls dynasty. I mean, that's arguably the best dynasty in the NBA's history is the Chicago Bulls in the 90s, and Jerry Krause came in and ruined Michael Jordan, the whole Pippen, screwing over Pippen. But I will agree, Carole Baskin legitimately took over quarantine. And it was just, I mean, it was a cheesy show. I think the fact that all the drama that happened while it was being produced was very good for the show and made it a lot more interesting. But, I mean, Jerry Krause literally destroyed the greatest basketball team of all time.
I think that's definitely fair to say. But think about this: how many people actually cared about that before they knew about it? And then kind of the same thing with Tiger King. But this has been something that's been unsolved for so long. It's like, how long are you willing to see a villain almost get away with it unharmed? I mean, and you're not even just talking about murder, but she sued Joe Exotic for $1 million on something that she only spent $5. I mean, there's just so much that goes into it that makes her just a greater villain than just a murder. I know the Bulls, greatest team ever. You could absolutely make the argument. But at the same time, it's a basketball franchise that their goal is to continue winning championships instead of just this one era of it being destroyed. Like the Bulls are still playing today. None of those guys would be on the team anymore.
Well, but you got to look at the amount of financial damage that was caused by Carole Baskin, which, I mean, as small as the exotic cat industry was in America, the NBA is $1 billion business. And the Bulls lost a lot of money because of Jerry Krause after the wake of The Last Dance, which, again, I think is a 20 times better will be a 20 times better TV series than the Tiger King will ever be. Like, the viewership from Last Dance has been through the roof. It is just electric.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I wasn't even actually a huge fan of Tiger King. I thought it was a little bit overhyped from everyone. But you can't even deny that Joe Exotic was just a garbage person. There's no denying that. And Carole Baskin is the person that stands out as the biggest villain. Joe Exotic is not a good person. Everyone gets behind him on Twitter. You just see people loving Joe Exotic. But Carole Baskin's people just hate. It's because they need someone to hate in their life, and it's Carole Baskin. She stands out as the most obvious villain.
Right now on Sided, Carole Baskin has the lead with 54% of the vote, and Jerry Krause has 45% of the vote.
Yeah, I saw a comment. Actually, you left it. You were saying that you think that Carole Baskin is a greater, or you said Carole Baskin is a greater villain, but Jerry Krause.
I voted for Jerry.
Villain. Yeah.
Yeah, I voted Jerry Krause was the bigger villain, but Carole was the worst villain. I think Jerry did it on a much bigger scale.
I think, yeah, I would agree with that almost 100% because Carole actually committed a legitimate, like, bad crime. But Jerry did, like, a lot of damage for, like, a lot, because a lot more people were affected by, the Bulls, like all the Bulls fans, all the players, more people were affected by Jerry Krause.
Well, I mean, you're talking about murder. I mean, there's a lot of people that gets affected by that, but I mean, even just on the stance of like, it doesn't matter how many people are affected. Like that's just a straight up crime. Um, Jerry Krause, yes, destroyed a lot of stuff. It's easy for people in the sports world to hate because fans are so passionate. But this is just, I mean, this girl is like a hypocrite.
I mean, but if you were to go back to the sports world, if Jerry Krause doesn't do what he does, maybe there's no debate between, who's the greatest of all time,
I mean, it's a fair thing, but also like it's something that's fueled the sports world for a long time.
Exactly.
I think you're looking at it the wrong way in the sense of, I mean, what could have happened because you can never go off what could have happened. But you know what did happen? A disappearance of Carole Baskin's husband.
I mean,
And
and what I've loved to see is the murder has reopened for her husband, which would probably not have happened if the show did not drop and Joe Exotic was not in prison today.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it definitely raised awareness to that situation because that's so crazy.
That's been really cool to see, like the quarantine phase of the social distancing. Everyone just kind of like watch Tiger King, and then now everyone's getting into Last Dance a lot, which is honestly probably one of the greater sports shows I'll ever watch. Makes me excited for this Kobe documentary that everyone's talking about now. I mean, it's incredible to see like how two shows have taken over everyone's 40 plus days at home.
Yeah, I don't think I could go a day on Twitter without seeing anything from Tiger King or The Last Dance because
Exactly.
I mean, that's just something that it just excites people as kind of we all need right now.
And then the cool part is just everyone knows about, even if you haven't watched either show, majority of people have a general basis of what each show's about, where it's like you can like that's just like become the common like conversation topics.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, right now, there's 5 days left until this debate expires. So get out there on Sided, vote for your debate, put your arguments in, and get on that leaderboard.